Tuesday edition of the SportsCage. Here we go. For Saskatchewan Lottery's main fundraiser for sport, culture, and recreation in our province. So when you're buying those lottery tickets, it's going to a good cause. Colson's with me. We're going to have some guests, and we got 3 hours for you. I'll give you the quick rundown. Going to be joined by General Manager of the Regina Pats here momentarily. If you didn't hear, contracts for Brad Haroff and assistant coach Ryan Smith not renewed today. We're going to talk about the NHL. Playoffs are set, and the Keniston Super Draft is on. We got a week to get things in, so we're going to run down the Super Draft and have some fun with that. SJHL, they're going 7 games in both series. That's how it should be. Speaking of the WHL, Les Lazaruk's going to join us later, but we got a game tonight up in Saskatoon, Prince Albert, Saskatoon. Saskatoon's got to try and somehow, some way get back into that series. I got a question that a SportsCage listener, fan, sent in that I'm going to need your help on the Prairie Land Rentals text line in a bit. The Prairie Land Rentals text line is 306-936-6262. Prairie Land Rentals, 600 Albert Street, where you get to deal with the owner. If you're thinking about a new lawnmower this year, maybe an aerator, you want to rent an aerator, anything like that, Prairie Land Rentals is your place to go. We'll love the question there. We love you participating on the Prairie Land Rentals text line throughout the show. Clark Munroe is going to come in at the bottom of this hour. We're going to talk some SJHL. We're going to talk some NHL too with Clarky, his second time on the SportsCage. Arash Madani in hour 2, clutch performer. PumpJacks Cathedral Trivia for $100 to PumpJacks Cathedral today. It's going to be in hour 2. It's going to be WHL based. You're going to have to call in if you haven't won anything in the last 30 days here on 620 CKRM. Think at the teams that are still alive in the WHL. It's going to be based on one of those. $100 will make it worth your while. You call in. Hour 3, Glen Suitor will be with us. And like I said, Les Lazaruk, voice of the Saskatoon Blades, will join us right before he walks into the stadium formerly known as Sask Place up there. So Lester in hour 3. We'll give you updates on the keyword for the putting green giveaway. Yes, we are giving away a putting green on the SportsCage, thanks to our friends at the Classic Landscape Company. We're going to talk more about that tomorrow. I think one of the gentlemen from the Landscape Company is coming in. We'll give you the keyword in a bit. Lots of winning, lots of fun. Colson's ready to go, but let's start the show. Let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline here. Western Pizza, perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, no need to cook tonight. Visit your local Western Pizza, dine in or pick up or get delivery. General Manager of the Regina Pats is joining us, Dale Derkatch. Dale, it's been a day for you, I'm sure. Thanks for making some time this afternoon.
Oh, thank you for having me, Barney. Now, just wait. Were you doing the weather?
I do read the weather. Why? Did you like that forecast?
I didn't know you were a weatherman as well. That's awesome.
Jack of all trades. You need me to read some news? Let me know. I can. I can do funeral. I used to read funeral announcements in Swift Current way back as well, Dale. When you were, that's right after your playing career back then. They announced it today. The press release came out. Brad Haroff, Ryan Smith, not renewed. I know you had a press conference today. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be there, but like I said, I'm glad you're able to come on with us live. How do you come up with that decision, Dale? I'm sure it's a process.
Yeah, it's not something you take on lightly. It's like everything. You have a year-end review with the players. You do the same with the coaches, and you take into account the full season and try not to get caught on any one particular part, good or bad, and review all that, and then you have to make some decisions at times, and not easily done today. Brad Haroff's a good man, and wish him all the best.
Made the playoffs with this team. That was the goal, but I think a lot of people were like, oh, that's maybe lofty goal. They pushed maybe the best team or one of the best teams in the country at times in that first round. When you assess what Brad did this year with this group, how do you come up with what you assess and how do you look at it?
Yeah, I think it started out like anything. I started with everyone in the hockey operations department having meetings in August and September to get to know all of them and find out how they were, hired and who hired them and try to get to know them. And then as we move along, we start assessing things throughout the season, whether it's things like communication to game planning to strategy, everything. There's a lot that goes into it. It's a lot of work. People don't see all that. They just see, the practice or the game if they show up. There's a lot of time that's put in, and obviously with travel on the road and so on, it's a long year. But, you have to take everything into account and then look at, what as well our players in year-end interviews with them, kind of giving them feedback on the year and them giving us feedback as well, and moving forward with the best plan possible.
Your career, storied career as a player and then front office and being in different positions. I find it tough as a hockey fan, and I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen in Saskatoon and Regina with Dave Struch, where these guys, they go through the lean years or maybe a couple lean years, and then just when it looks like there's turning the corner and then the future's looking bright, a change is made. That's got to be tough in it too, Dale.
Yeah, it is. Again, I live in this city. Brad lives in this city. It's not like we're not going to see each other. And that can't ultimately be how I make my decisions. They've got to be made in the best interest of the organization. I just feel at this time we have a young crew. Brad's been with the group for 3 years, kind of with most of these players. It's just a new direction, a new voice, a new style. Probably, when most times when you hire a GM, they usually do bring in their own coach. That's generally the way things work in most sports. But I was willing to see how things went for a year. It was good, but I just think there's more to be had, and just like a different style and voice.
What makes a good WHL coach in 2026? Because so many things are changing. Is it maybe somebody that has some ties or some knowledge on the NCAA as well? I'm curious. What do you think makes a good coach in 2026?
Well, I think the first and foremost, you'd want the coach to be able to coach hockey, and you worry about the ties to the U.S. or, the scouting side of it, if you want to call it, as a secondary thing. I think someone has got to be a good communicator. I mentioned that today in the scrum with the other reporters. I don't really understand why everything needs to be explained. When you get sat out, you should know why you're sat out.
I used to know. I used to know.
Yeah, I did too, and it happened to me. And, my parents didn't phone the coaches. They said, yeah, they're right. And, 95% of the time it was right. But in this day and age, communication's a big thing. It seems like everyone needs to know why, what reason. In the end, I think the decision's still going to be what it's going to be, but maybe you give feedback. That's a big part. Obviously, someone who motivates, someone the players, look up to as a role model. Mm-hmm. There's lots that goes into coaching. It's not just X's and O's.
There's a lot of people online. People are messaging me already. It's like, it's going to be a big splash. It's going to be a big name. Have you talked to anyone yet? And is there a timeline for when you announce someone to be in place?
No, I have not talked to anyone. I think out of respect to our coaching staff, I don't think that's right to start speaking with people, even though you tell them it's confidential. The next thing you know, you start hearing that talks are going on. So I didn't talk to anyone at this point. Timeline is whatever it takes. We need to really take our time, go through, as I said before, this word, I get sick of it, but process, have talks with whoever we're interested in or whoever may be interested in us, and really try to make the best decision possible. So the time is not really, there isn't a set time at all. We can handle things from here till training camp if need be. I doubt it will be that long, but no, not going to put a time on anything.
Does ownership have any say in things as well?
Well, we had talks, of course, prior to everything going on. At the end of the year, I wanted to get feedback from ownership as well. But no, they're will help, will lend a hand if need be, but they're going to leave the hockey area to myself, and probably a little bit, I lean on Gord Pritchard as the CEO, who, by bounce things off, that we will make a plan. Well, we've already started we have a plan to start talks maybe with interested people. And then on the other side, it's hard to know. People are under contract, so you don't want to be talking with people. That's not allowed. You have to, if you're interested, you have to ask the team first. But we'll see as we move forward here.
What style of play would you like to see? And this team is almost all coming back, which is great. But as a coach, what style do you want to see as the GM on the ice? Because you guys got to be in sync, right? The coach and the GM when it comes to style.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I know this always sounds weird to people when I say this. I think you have to be good defensively. I think that's number one, and that's not just a defense. That's a whole team mentality. I'd like to play a fast, up-tempo game with, forechecking hard. There are times when you can sit back for sure, but I think we have young guys and with some pretty decent talent. I think we want to push it. I'd rather play in the offensive zone than the defensive zone. So you'd like to keep the puck down in that end if you can. And, attention to detail and, just a hard game. Size is not always something, but I do like an aggressive team that competes very hard.
The Bill LaForge, Bob Strum styles when you played probably don't work all that much anymore. There's pieces and all that. But when you go to your playing days and then your scouting days and then just around the WHL and the National Hockey League, is there a coach or someone that you learned more from coaching style-wise, Dale, through your years?
You know what? I really learned. I was very lucky, played on usually very good teams, which helps. And then all the coaches I had, I learned from Bill LaForge to Bob Strum to Barry Trapp to Terry O'Malley to Barry McKenzie. Yeah, I learned from all those coaches. There's pieces that I use to this day from all of them. There's drills, sayings, stories from all those guys. They all had something to offer, and all great people, great men in their own right, and great coaches.
Okay, and before I let you go, I want to ask you your thoughts on the word that they're extending the season, WHL-wise.
Yeah, the thought on that is they're going to go to the first round of the playoffs is going to be only a best of 5. And the idea is that you give one more week, so you'd end up with one more home date. The feeling was that would help the season and not have so many 3-3s and, maybe 4 games in 5 nights and so on. So that's the reasoning behind that.
And do you know anything about this? Teams are allowed to fly now. I know I've read it might be only one way. It's you got to cross the Rockies. Do you know anything about that?
That is right, what you said. So it's still in the works. I think there's still some things that need to be talked about. We all know that not every team has the ability to do that, to fly maybe. So I'm not sure how that's all going to work out. But there are people above me that know a lot more than I do. So we'll let them work that out.
You would have taken that back in the 80s instead of those long trips on the lung, eh?
No, Barney, best times with the guys. That's what you remember. I don't remember any of the games other than losing to Kamloops in Game 7 of the final. Most of it is all about the people, all about the time together. That's the best time, for sure.
Awesome. Hey, I, of course, appreciate you taking some time, as always, Dale. And it's a difficult time. Like you said, Brad was a good man. We both know him. I think it's, he'll land on his feet somewhere. And best of luck in the search, and we'll catch up again.
Thank you, Barney. We'll see you at the rink probably tonight.
Possibly. Yeah. I might have to coach football too. So I might need your help there. Dale.
Okay.
See you later. There's our
Right
GM.
on. Take care. Bye-bye.
See ya. GM of the Regina Pats and Regina Pats legend, Dale Derkatch. Very difficult day as they don't extend the contracts for head coach Brad Haroff, assistant coach Ryan Smith, but Brad's been with the team a long time. I do have a personal relationship with Brad. Great guy, heck of a guy. Good hockey. I've just sat down with him a lot. It's like sitting down with Dale or Tristan Fry or Dan De Silva, just down anybody that's Marty Murray. When you get to talk to some of these hockey guys, it's you learn quickly that you don't know that much, and they know a lot about the game and where the game is now and how it's changed from Dale's time in the early 80s to heck 2011, 2010. The game has changed so much, so it's always moving. I've probably fielded like I'm some sort of insider reporter from people around the country asking who the next coach is. I have no idea. I am as curious as everybody. We are talking to Les Lazaruk in hour 3. Going to get Les's take on that as well. One thing some people are talking about, it's going to be when I was talking to Dale, it's going to be a big fish, a big splash. I don't know if that's the case. It could be someone that we are not, that's maybe not a household name, that brings these intangibles and is in line with how Dale thinks as well. So we'll talk more about that as we go along here on the Sports Cage. We're on the home of the Regina Pats, 620 CKRM. All right, if you have comments on and maybe the coaching changes or the non-renewal of the contracts, 936-6262 Prairieland Rentals text line. Now I got this question from a Sports Cage listener, avid listener, Sports Cage fan, I guess. And as you know, when I do the program, doesn't always have to be sports. It just can be curiosity and can be music, pop culture, whatever. And I thought this was really interesting. And I want to take a poll. Can we do polls? Can we have like a running tally on how many people? Colson and I give you the 3 options here. So I guess at the Cooperator Center. And I've been known, like a lot of people in the city, to rib the Cooperator Center a bit and have some fun with them. But in the washrooms now, there is, and I don't know how long this has been there, but there is a sign in each stall. And if you're watching the stream, because you can watch a show on YouTube through sportscage.com, Colson's throwing it up. It says water saving dual function handle. Okay, which is great. It says the handle up for liquid, so flush up for liquid waste, down for solid waste. There's a lot of toilets and houses and places like that now. Colson, you get it, right?
Yeah, I really should have had a flushing sound effect ready for this show.
Oh, sorry, keep that up, just because I want to paint the picture for the people listening on streams on the radio. Okay, so you're in a public facility, lots of traffic, like an airport. I was just in Vegas for 10 days, like casino. So now up for liquid, down for solid. We got to get a poll going here. 936-6262. Do people actually use their hands to flush the toilet in public facilities nowadays? I wanted so yes, I use my hands and I would use liquid or solid. Or do you use your foot like I would? I'm a foot guy. A lot of foot guys, a lot of foot girls out there. And I don't know if I would go up or down. I would just go with the 48 years of my life. Well, not that many. However many years of my life that I'm just trained to just step down.
Yeah.
Be honest, Colson.
Well, it depends, because if I'm using a urinal, that's really high up. I'm not getting my foot.
No, this is a toilet.
Yeah. No, I'd be using my foot. And if I'm using my foot, it's going down.
I think, right?
Like, I don't...
You're asking for too much, I think, for people to go up.
Like, I maybe could get my foot to go
Well,
up.
we all
but, like,
could.
Yeah, but like the extra effort and thinking, like you don't want to pull something.
Slippery at times. Some of the tile floor. If you're wearing a nice loafer, maybe you're out at an event.
Yeah.
Seriously, I honestly don't know how many people would go with the proper up down here thing that would just be foot down, boom, done, flush away.
Yeah.
And are people using their hands at public? Nothing wrong with that. If that's what you do and you get a thorough wash of the hands after, I think that's okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember, there's one in the city somewhere where it was awkward. So I did use my hand, but I grabbed a little extra toilet paper then, right? And just use that, right? It's the same when you're leaving the bathroom and you keep some paper towel to grab the door handle.
There's a new facility in Prince Albert. Beautiful. Hockey rinks, swimming pool, wave pool. I don't know what else is in there. And it's one of those ones where a lot of facilities now, the bathrooms are just a bank of doors, and you male, female, doesn't matter, go in. I feel really bad for the females in these situations. Really bad. Because every time I go in one, it's like, oh, come on, man. Come on, boys. Anybody of the normal male, like, what do we look at? This is filthy. This is gross. I feel bad. Because I think the women, when they have their own bathrooms, they got a good thing going there.
Yep.
They're clean. You go into you walk by a women's bathroom, and sometimes you see flowers, and it smells good, and they got like different things in there, like the one here at work, where the men's, it's meant for in and out.
Yeah.
I think there was cough candies in there at one point. That's about it. But I feel really bad for the females that have to use those dual bathrooms. And then this thing, I don't know where you land. Text in, Larry says, step on it. No up, no down, just step on it. Trent says, just step down on it. So yeah, no hands and no going up so far out of the gate. We're going to keep a running tally here. I'll be very curious if there are people that are going to that follow this rule. If you do, kudos to you. Probably a better human than me and Colson.
So are we asking if they use their hand or their feet? Or is it if you're using your hand and following the actual function of the flusher?
Yeah,
I'm hearing two questions here.
Sure. Well, we can have two questions.
Yeah.
Do you use your hand? And are you following the rules? Up, down, whatever. Or you can just say, screw it, I'm using my foot and going down. Like Trent. Scotty in Saskatoon, probably getting ready to go to the Blades PA game. Step down, especially if a guy is running a flip-flop. Yeah, see? Yeah. You got footwear. Foot attire, footwear is key. Hardest, Jeff in Regina, hardest part of being a boy dad is teaching your son not to touch every aspect of a toilet in public. Have you announced that you're having a kid yet?
No, thanks for saying that.
Sorry.
It's all good. No, hey,
sorry. This is a live program. I thought you did for some reason, but you're going to, Jeff, I kind of remember. I got a boy and a girl. The touching of everything. Yeah, it's a gross state. So keep them coming.
I'm an oldest brother, and I have 5 younger brothers. That's fairly public information at this point. So I've had to help educate my younger brothers on the, hey, this is a public bathroom.
Did parents lean on you to help back in the day?
At a certain point, yeah. I've changed a fair share of diapers already, so.
Yeah. You looking back, man, that all goes like that. The changing of diapers, because now I see like my nephews and people doing it, and I'm like, I used to do that. Mm-hmm. Like I used to be able to carry a baby like this with a bottle and do it. Now it's like, because I remember before you get there, it's scary. It's like, oh, I don't want to touch this thing. It's like a fine piece of, it's like a vase.
Yeah.
You don't want to drop it. The brain is, or the head's so soft at the beginning. And then I feel by the first few months, you're just like carrying him around like it's like a football or a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, let's walk over here. Let's get her going. And then, there's a lot of the other touching in the bathrooms and all that.
Well, my niece is about 2 years old right now, and it's been probably, we'll go 15 years since I've held a baby that was like related to me, right? And it's one of those things you're like, man, I haven't done this in forever. Am I going to be okay with it? And then you put them in your arm, you're like, oh yeah, this is how we do it. Yeah, you kind of get back up on the bike, right? But still.
You're very similar to me. I was, it was one of those things in life where you're like, act like you've been here before. Act like you know what you're doing here. It's like, now it's been a few years. I'd probably be a little scared. I picked up a dog the other day and I was worried if I did that right. I was like,
it matters depending on the dog too, because if it's a big dog, you're like, we're just gonna forklift this. That's all you got. Whereas if it's a little dog, you're like, okay, where am I grabbing you?
Gord is saying nothing wrong with using your hand as long as you watch properly. Dale says nope, step down. There's no stepping up or down. Dale's just a go down guy. 936-6262. Have some fun with that today. Or if you got comments on the Pats looking for a coach out there, you can get in on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. We'll go to break. We come back. We're going to talk some SJHL. Holy parity in the league. First time I think it's since. Well, we'll bring our one of our SJHL experts in, Clark Munroe, and he'll let us know when the last time both series have gone to Game 7. And we'll talk Keniston Super Draft because the NHL teams are solidified. Oh, it is very interesting. It's a Sports Cage for Saskatchewan Lottery, streaming through our YouTube channel if you want to watch along at sportscage.com. Welcome back to the Sports Cage for Saskatchewan Lotteries on this Tuesday. I want to get this out of the way too. I'll mention this in our backyard putting green giveaway. Yep, SportsCage and Classic Landscape Company giving away a backyard putting green installed. This isn't some like on a crate, you throw it in the backyard and that old turf that people used to have inside the trailer. No, this is a real putting green, envy of the neighborhood stuff. Grand prize winner will be announced Friday, May 1st. What you have to do is you have to text in 306-936-6262, and you just have to text in the word, because it's the same text line we use in for people that are getting in on other things and want to mention things. But for this, you just have to text in today the keyword, which is golf. That's it. Golf. 936-6262 if you want to be entered in for the putting green. Thanks to the Classic Landscape Company. We'll talk to them more tomorrow about putting greens, installing putting greens and all that. That'll be very interesting. We got more winning coming up in hour 2 at the PumpJacks Cathedral Trivia as well for $100 today. But joining us in studio again, coming back for a second time around, Clark Munroe, one of our SJHL experts. Wow, we got 2 Game 7s in the semifinals. First time since
2005. Yes, 20 years.
That's for starters. It's hard to believe it's 20 years ago.
Right.
Somewhat depressing.
Yeah.
Colson, were you born in 2005?
Yes.
Okay.
Good. I was just starting high school, so there you go.
I was 8 years old, so take that for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Do we remember the teams in 2005?
No, I could look it up if you give me like 10 seconds. I can search back on the website, but yeah, it's been one of those years, and like of course this year the way things have been going, this is how it turns out in the second round. It's pretty great.
Last night in Weyburn, it was 5-1 Weyburn. I didn't watch the game. You were there.
I was there, yeah.
I heard it was very exciting early.
Yeah, it was. Honestly, it was one of those things where I'm a former Estevan employee, so I don't have usually many nice things to say about Weyburn, but the one thing I always respected about Weyburn was that their fans know what they're cheering for, and they know how to get behind their team. And early on in the game, I told my dad, who I was there at the game with, and I was there with Jamie Neugebauer as well. Braden Klamosko was there, Humboldt Broncos head coach. We were all sitting together, and I was like, if one thing happens early in this game that the fans don't agree with, they won't let it go. It's gonna stick with them, and they're gonna get super pumped up about it. And 8 minutes in, there's a penalty shot for Flin Flon. Breakaway for a kid named Daniel Morozov, really skilled player for Flin Flon. Stick gets hooked a little bit. Ref calls, points at the center ice. The crowd goes nuts. Obviously, they're like booing and they're into it. And the Weyburn goalie makes the save on the penalty shot. So of course, from then on, you kind of just could tell that the energy there was there. Weyburn got super excited about it. The team, I mean, they were super physical all night. They were laying hits. They weren't giving Flin Flon an inch, which you can't give Flin Flon an inch. So they really executed their game plan super well last night. And, it was just kind of destiny, like the way that the season's been going, how close everybody is in our standings all season long, how many teams can beat any team on any given night kind of thing. Of course, we're going to 2 Game 7s in the semifinals. Of course.
Okay, Josh Grimm and Bobby Millette were the officials. Experienced.
Yeah.
Good crew. Was it a penalty shot, do you think?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was for sure. It was a clear breakaway, and his stick got hooked right in the hands. It's one of those ones you can't really argue, but of course the fans are going to boo and make a big deal out of it. So, yeah, it was what's the word? Catalyst moment kind of thing. And I've always said about the Weyburn fans, like I said, despite being a rival for a couple of years, tons of respect for that fan base and that city. And they really love their Red Wings. So it got a little rowdy in there. It was great.
So I was talking to a father of one of the Flin Flon Bombers today, Craig Ulmer, Ryan Ulmer, number 19 for your Flin Flon Bombers. And I was saying, well, are you making the trek up to the fun? No, he's we're going up this weekend. All that.
I think I saw him at the game last night. Actually, he might have been wearing a Martin High School
for
sweater.
Sure. Yeah, he would have been there in full. How this series hasn't Weyburn's won in the Whitney Forum, and that's where they're going tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's been done in this series.
Yeah, and they're the only team this season to do it. Nobody else beat them at the Whitney Forum in regulation. I think it was Melfort maybe beat them in overtime or a shootout even midway through the year, but nobody else beat them in regulation at home. So it's kind of a fortress up there. We knew that. We always know that about the Whitney Forum up in Flin Flon, but this year specifically, they didn't lose in regulation one time. And then game 1, Weyburn goes up there, number 5 seed. Some people look at that as a huge underdog kind of scenario, but those who have been watching all year know that Weyburn probably easily could have been a number 2 seed. That's kind of just the way the number 2 through 5 rankings kind of went this year. They're all interchangeable is a light word, like it kind of makes light of it, but they were all very close, like marginal difference.
Parodies. I was following it all year, and I'm like, this is great. Like, look at these guys, and then last night, Josh Sale, for Weyburn, 3 goals and 1 assist,
hat trick, and he scored the empty netter at the end of the game, and instantly he grabbed his helmet and faked threw it off of his head, and the crowd littered. Most hats I've seen in a junior A game in a while too.
Really?
Yeah, they were littered. I didn't wear mine. Thankfully, somebody behind me might have grabbed it and thrown it over the way it was going. Kids were grabbing their friends' hats and throwing them over the glass. It was great.
Speaking of hats, this is the Clark's wearing the SJHL SportsCage hat. If you're not watching the stream on YouTube, they are a nice hat. We do have a few more to give. Let's give one away, Colson. If you're listening right now, you want an SJHL SportsCage hat, you have to be able to pick this up. We can't ship I've had my shipping license revoked from the company, so you have to be able to come and pick it up if you haven't won anything in 30 days. 936-6262. Want you to call in if you want that, or toll free 1-866-767-0620 if you want a lid. Colson standing by to take your name. They are a nice. Okay, let's go to the other series.
Yep.
Clark, and 7 games. What do you know here? I'm sure you've watched this one online and you've dissected it.
Yeah.
Yorkton, Battleford battling it out.
So the best part about the games having staggered start times is after the game last night, we went down to Cody Mapes' office. The Mapes family well, I'm sure.
Sure there's a fridge in there?
There was. We weren't partaking. We were being courteous. But they they were having a lot of fun. I'll just say that. And of course, what did they have on in the coach's office but the Yorkton Battlefords game? So we actually got to see how that game went, and it's again very typical of that series. Battlefords gets up 3-1. They're at home, right, at the Access Communications Center up in Battlefords. And what does Yorkton do but score 5 unanswered goals to make it 6-3 for the final score? Yorkton is kind of that team, right, that we've talked about them all year as this offensive kind of firepower, powerhouse kind of team. Battleford's very similar. They're kind of a run and gun team. They're pretty deep. They might be a little bit deeper overall than Yorkton. But Yorkton's high end is very, very high end. Their top guys they have one of the most elite lines in the league this year. They have some of the best defensemen in the league, and their goalie's been fantastic. Callum Craig's been great. So that series, skill wise, very, very matched up well. Like they match up very closely to what how each other play. And Yorkton's just found their scoring touch in the last 3 games. They scored 7 the other night in Battlefords. They scored 6 last night. So now it comes back to Yorkton, and kind of seems like the magic number is 3. If you can get to 3 goals in this series in a game, you have a good chance of winning it, and it seems so far that's been the case.
Will home ice there be a factor tomorrow night, do you think?
Well, one thing that Commissioner Kyle actually just sent the email here, Kyle McIntyre, about our attendance.
He's got a hat.
He has hats, yeah. He's good. If he texts in, Colson, do not give him a hat. He's already got a few. But please text in, Kyle. But he sent out the numbers for attendance, and Yorkton has been averaging about 1,600 fans. Averaging.
Yeah.
The last couple of games, they've been closer to 2,000.
Yeah.
They're super pumped down there in Yorkton. We all know that they went through a bit of a rough spell financially for a couple seasons, and they have bounced back huge. Obviously getting started against their Highway 10 rival, Melville, got the juices flowing, I think, and now that they're going to Game 7, I would expect a crowd that they haven't seen yet, and they've seen some big ones. I would expect 2,000 plus there. Now, can Battlefords handle that? They've shown that they can.
For sure.
They've won in that building. Yeah. They're a very skilled team. They can rely on a lot of guys to step up. So is home ice, I guess your question was, is home ice a big deal? I'm going to say yes, but at the same time, I think Battlefords has that team that can kind of slow that down and handle that a little bit.
Yeah, Yorkton, everything you hear about the organization, the AAA Maulers are turning it around. They got a new GM, new coach coming in there. So a lot of good things in the city of Yorkton. This might be a tough question because I was just thinking about this as we go along here. Of the 4 teams left, it's the youngest team. Like, who's looking good for next year out of these 4?
Wildly, well, all of them have a good foundation.
Mixture, yeah.
It's a good mixture. But weirdly, the number 1 team, Flin Flon. I've talked to Mike Reagan a couple times this season, head coach GM there for, I don't know, Mike, what is it, 16, 17 seasons now?
Long time. When Colson was in high school.
Yeah, exactly. He's harped a lot this year. Like, this is one of his youngest teams that he's had that has gotten to this level of competition. Like, a lot of the players who are around there, Wyatt Stinton, Ryder Muka, Ryan Ulmer, Hudson
Les
Breho.
Bronze.
What's that?
Les Bronze.
Yeah, Les Bronze is there. Yeah. They have a lot of guys who are 07s, 18-year-olds, who already have a season under their belt because they played as 16-year-olds or 17-year-olds. So they already have at least a season. And that's a good chunk of their forward group. They have some 20-year-olds like everybody does at this point in the season, but they have a really good group of young guys, local guys too, which is great for the Flin Flon area.
Really?
They're pumping out local guys. Yeah, Muka and Stinton, they're both local guys.
That's tough up there, right?
Yeah. But kudos to that team to, get that youth movement coming up through the minor hockey system up there, and they do a great job recruiting. They do a great job getting their own kids up there. There's a few. Joey Lees is another one from that area. Justin Lees, his older brother, was with the Blades for a couple of years. Went back to Flin Flon a few years ago and really lit it up. But they do a great job there. As we all know, Mike Reagan's a legend in this league, and but they do have a really good kind of turnaround, look ahead outlook is what I'm trying to say.
I'm curious, actually, your take as a guy who's worked in the league, working with the league closely, and with everything that's going on with the Western Hockey League and NCAA now.
Sure.
Do you foresee a lot of these young teams, though? Do you foresee, because I do, I think in the next few years, we're going to see kids maybe instead of their last year AAA midget play like Cash Lanigan is doing
Right.
in Yorkton.
Yeah.
And then
He's a great example.
Great. Like, and he's having an awesome year.
Yeah.
Like, it just seems the progression obviously is WHL. Do you think we're going to see, which is great for the SJ as well,
Sure.
to kind of have some of these kids for a 1.5, maybe 2 years, and then pushed on to the Western Hockey League?
Yeah. I'm a firm believer that junior hockey is always going to balance itself. Yes, a couple kids might go a different direction than for the SJHL maybe we're used to. Like, we had that NCAA thing for a while, right? So we would get the odd kid sticking around for a couple seasons that maybe would have gone elsewhere if he had different options. Now it's open to anybody. They can do whatever they want, which is great for the player. Power to the players. I'm all for that. But the great thing about it is since Kyle McIntyre's come in, and it's not this has been a thing for the SJHL for a long time, but Kyle's really put it at the forefront, and kudos to him. But our stay here, play here model, where I think when Kyle came in, our Saskatchewan content was about 30% or so.
Okay.
It's hovering around 50 now.
Really?
Which, to your point, I think is we're seeing a lot more of those younger players stay here for their first year of junior eligibility. Yes, maybe they'll try the BCHL in their 19-year-old year if they have a really successful year. Cohen Sempt is a great example. Regina kid. Had a great year up in Flin Flon last year, decided to go to the BCHL this year as a 19-year-old. Maybe he'll stick there next year. Maybe he'll come back.
Maybe he'll come back.
We don't know. But the options are there. But we are seeing a lot of kids stay here for their first year of eligibility out of AAA, or like Cash Lanigan, their last year of AAA instead. They'll jump up to juniors. And Cash is fantastic this year. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, well, and
I think it's I always see the junior hockey balancing out. Generally, there's always a trickle down effect regardless.
And the stay here, play here, and I know, and you hear it as well, and I hear it, and it's like, well, yes, Jay, they gotta do that. There's always people that want to complain about whether it's CFL, whether it's the Riders, whether it's the NHL, like what it's like. Okay, yeah, you know where everybody knows it's smarter than everyone else. 50%. To have that lift of 12% or whatever it is fantastic. But then you got to see, and from what I hear, and when I get Benny on the show and the commission and the commission, I talk, and he'll send me pictures right when he's at these rinks, and it's like, well, look at these crowds. Like, why wouldn't these kids want to play here?
Right, and we were talking about that on our show, me and Jamie Neugebauer the other day, about our crowds this year. The last couple of years, our crowds have been fantastic all season long. And Jamie, my good friend, I'll shout him out. He does a lot of great work for our league. He's from Ontario. So he comes from the land of multiple junior A leagues, the NOJ, the GO, the whatever other
I played
ones.
in the one.
Yeah.
I was like, how many teams are in this league? Like 30?
Yeah, sure. There's one with like 6. So like there's they come from crowds of, he come from rinks where there was like 8 people. And in fairness, he was also worked at Notre Dame, which now is Warman, and Warman had a heck of a season crowd-wise, despite being where they were in the standings.
Really?
Their crowds were fantastic. That community is
awesome.
ripe for really good crowds. They're going to turn things around really fast there. But, our crowds have been fantastic. Our promotion of our players have been fantastic. With the changes, we've seen a lot of our players graduate to U Sports, which is great. I think for the U Sports, a lot of local guys sticking around their communities. We see a lot of our Alberta kids going to Alberta schools. Yeah. Our Saskatchewan kids are going out to the U of R, the U of S. A lot of ACAC schools are getting our kids and dominating. So we love to see that. But maybe we don't see as many Div 1s, which people, point out. They love to point that out. But I think it's great for our U Sports programs in our area. The Can West programs continue to be very good, and the ACAC programs too, really taking off.
Our WHL insider, John Keynes, must be watching over there in Kamloops because he's curious on the hats. Oh, yeah. I might be able to ship one to Johnny.
John?
He's one. Come on, look at this. Look at this 47 SportsCage. You need this as a Sasky guy out there, John. Okay, you want to stick around for about 4 minutes, talk some NHL?
Absolutely.
We'll go to break and we'll come back. Clark Munroe's with us. It's the SportsCage for Saskatchewan Lotteries. We'll be right back. Western Hockey League playoffs tonight. Blade's going to try and figure something out and try and steal one against Prince Albert at home. 7 p.m. puck drop there. The other series, Penticton at Prince George. PG is up 2-0. That place will be rocking. And Kelowna, they're trying to get back into their thing with Everett as Everett comes into town leading 2-0. National Hockey League, everything's set, but Winnipeg's in Utah, Colorado's at Calgary, and Vancouver welcomes the Los Angeles Kings. Blue Jays playing hardball. 5:40 first pitch against the Milwaukee Brewers. SportsCage.com poll today. What sports stories interested you most from the weekend? You can vote at SportsCage.com. It is for Reliance Heath, new water heater softener starting at about $1.20 a day and get $400 cash back. Some conditions apply. Call on Reliance. Clark Munroe is with us here for another about 4 minutes. I want to talk to you, Ed. If you're watching the stream, here it is. The Kenniston Super Draft. We're going to be talking about it all week. Like, who doesn't know about the Kenniston Super Draft?
You can't not know. If you drive on the highways in this province, you see it every time you go to Saskatoon or to Regina from Saskatoon.
$80,000 total. First place is taking home $20,000. That's real scratch. Like, we're not screwing around here. The Super 8's $10,000 back. Now, I wanted to get your take because I started crossing off the teams because now things are set.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, all right, because they send everything out. Like, I got mine last week. Okay, well, they didn't know, but Detroit's out. Islanders out. Capitals out. Columbus out. Nashville, San Jose, Seattle. Okay. You're a Toronto Maple Leafs fan.
Yeah, terrible season.
Yeah, no, again. Now what do you do as a Leafs fan, though, when it comes to the playoffs?
I'm jumping on the Sabres bandwagon, like hard. Really? I love the kind of nobody cares about us attitude that they have right now. Did you see the billboard that they put up for Ryan Whitney, who said they had a 0% chance of making the playoffs? They put a big billboard up in Buffalo with his face on it.
Oh, really?
So I'm like all in on Buffalo. I want them to do very well, despite them being a divisional rival of my favorite team. I've kind of dropped that. I think the Buffalo storyline is really, really cool. So I'm going with them. I don't know if they're going to win, but I'm all in on their wagon.
Okay, but if you had to bet with money on the smart side of things,
right, smart.
Who would you? No, like because I think Buffalo. I think Buffalo. You never know.
They have some magic about them.
It could happen, but East or West, like a lot of people are making Colorado to be this unbeatable team, which I don't know. I think the first round will be easy for them. Dallas, Minnesota, they're going to beat the snot out of each other. What happens in the... I really love Vegas, but I don't know if I can buy into Vegas. I'm not buying any Edmonton stock personally.
Yeah, well, Mitch Marner's in Vegas, so... We all know how that ends every year. Where's my camera? But yeah, no, I'm a Dallas guy myself. I really like what they have. They've been there. I think some of their guys are just beasts. I think they're going to get beat up. Minnesota's going to beat them up, but I think they'll get through, and I like their chances going really, really deep. I'm a Dallas guy.
It's like you look down, you look like that the Jamie Benns, the Matt Duchesnes. Yeah. It's like, okay, can they do it this year? Because last year it was like, can they do it this year? The year before.
I look out for a guy like Wyatt Johnston. Take off.
Sammy Steele, playoff guy.
Steele. We don't have to get me started on how much I like Sam Steele, but I like where Dallas is at. Mikko Rantanen's a monster, so I think they have a good chance, as good a chance as anybody. It's a parity league though in the NHL this year too. It's really spread out up there. So
the old Mike Sillinger, an 8 always beats a 1 could happen again. Did I hear right? I don't know if anyone else has heard. Is it looking like Anaheim, Los Angeles play in the first round?
Well, the one I got up on NHL.com is Anaheim would play Edmonton.
Okay.
LA would play Colorado, but that could change. I don't know if that's finalized yet. But
selfishly, and I think we would all look how many West Coast teams are playing, just so we can watch hockey till maybe 1 a.m. with overtimes.
Yeah,
right.
Love that.
It's what we want to just get home, barbecue, and then sit on the couch and gamble and watch hockey. All right. So, are you going to any game tomorrow?
No, I'm going to be sitting on the couch barbecuing, watching Game 7s on the computer and the laptop here, doing enough traveling over the next... I'm going to be on the broadcast on SaskTel for all the finals. So I'm going to be doing enough driving and traveling. I think I'm going to take tonight or tomorrow night off and just stay at home for it. But it's going to be great for Game 7s in the SJ,
I'm going to throw out maybe I got to get to one of the final games. Do the show. If you're going to be in town anyway.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Wherever it is.
Yeah. So wherever it is, if it's Weyburn, Yorkton, Battleford, Flin Flon, if you can make it up to any of those places.
Yeah, I don't think
try to convince the bosses to get up to Flin Flon.
I think I still owe people money in North Battleford, so I don't know if I can go unless the golf course is open. Go visit Dana Johnson.
Our driving ranges are opening up, so who knows?
Well, that's where maybe the commission is right now. Maybe things are open in Swifty.
Wouldn't doubt that.
And down that. Clark, thanks so much for coming in again.
Absolutely. Yeah,
that was a lot of fun. Clark Munroe from the SJHL giving us some intake here. Super Draft as well. We will take a break, then we're going to go to news, and when we come back, Arash Madani in hour 2. It's the SportsCage for Saskatchewan Lotteries on this Tuesday. We'll be back. Okay, we're back. Hour 2 on this Tuesday. Colson's with me. Thanks to Clark Munroe again for coming in. If you missed any of hour 1, also Dale Derkatch. I'm going to try and run a snippet of that in hour 3, as well as the Regina Pats didn't renew the contracts for head coach Brad Haroff, assistant coach Ryan Smith today. Also in hour 1, before we get to Arash Madani, we were talking about, from a SportsCage listener and fan that likes that we kind of ask questions more than just sports. And this one's a big one. Apparently, most people are on the same side as us. Cooperator Center now, the bathrooms have a push up in the stalls, up for liquid waste, down for solid waste on the knob, or what is that called? The handle. So then Colson, and I asked Colson, and I'm like, are people actually using their hands in public bathrooms these days?
We got one texter who is.
And if you are you following the up-down thing? Or are you just going down? I'm a foot guy. I think a lot of people, I think 80% of the people that have texted in so far are just push it down with your foot. We're not going up, down with a foot. Scott had a really good point from Saskatoon about if you're wearing a flip-flop, you're going down all day long. I said if you're wearing a loafer, that's maybe a slippery floor, you could be in trouble trying to navigate an up and down thing. I think at least we're flushing at that point, and I just go down. Now, Roscoe in K-Town, he goes hand. He's old-fashioned.
Yeah, hand, but with the paper towel. He was clarifying. Then that's what I said. It's like the times that I've had to use my hand just because it's an awkward flush or whatever. I'll grab some toilet paper or paper towel and do it, so it's not just bare-handing it. Yeah,
I could see toilet paper. I don't think Roscoe's going out grabbing, or before he goes into the stall, grabbing some paper towel. This is probably the toilet paper. Yeah, okay. Well, Roscoe is one of our first hand guys that gets it done with the hand. What do you do out there? Are you going to follow this water-saving dual-function handle thing that they're doing at Cooperator Center? If you are, kudos to you. That's great. I get that some people are trying to save the earth and some kind of water or whatever the charade is. But I'm going to flush. I'm respectful. I'm flush, but with my foot, and I'm just going down. That's where I go. 936-6262, Prairieland Rentals text line. Prairieland Rentals, where you get to deal with the owner, whatever you need. It is air raiding season soon, so they have all that and lawnmowers as well. But we had to do this earlier today because he was a busy guy. It is our segment with Arash Madani.
It's time to go coast to coast with Arash Madani for Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian Gawley at Smart Investing Solutions, 546-2533.
Okay, a little pre-record action here with Arash Madani on this Tuesday for Brian Gawley, Smart Investing Solutions. Before we get down to sports, listener of the show wanted me to tackle this question today, and I thought, well, Arash would want to weigh in on it. So at a facility in Regina, hockey rinks, soccer, all that, very nice facility. They have, I guess, these now in the bathrooms. Now, it's a debate water-saving dual-function handle. So you pull up for liquid waste and down for solid waste. Understandable. If this is in your house, we get it. But this is a public venue. So the question that the listener had was, don't people usually just use their foot for starters? And are people going to go up? What's your take on this?
Oh, my. Talk about a loaded question.
Isn't it just a step down automatically with your foot at a public?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, there's no droughts where we are. Like, you know, like, I'm a terrible person to ask because I'm the person who takes a 25-minute hot shower too. You know, so saving, like, I'm all for recycling and I'm all for trying to save the world, but when it comes to water, we don't need any remnants of anything sticking around the bowl.
When's the last time you actually used your hand at a public facility, whatever, to flush a toilet?
Oh, God. College?
We just don't do it anymore.
No.
Yeah.
And if there's one air quote legacy from the COVID pandemic, let's hope that none of us are doing that anymore.
Okay. I figured you would be on that. I wanted to throw you for a little bit of a loop. And
what an opening salvo! Never a dull moment on the SportsCage, you know.
Yeah, that's why Brian Golly, when I was talking to him in Vegas, he's like, "Man, just some of the stuff you guys do on there," and it's like, "Hey, that's what we do." I want to get this first because I know you and I are messaging back and forth. I thought it was a joke. I was like, April 1st. No, that passed. Chad Kelly had a revealing, wide-ranging interview with the Denver Gazette where he came out and said his goal is to return to the NFL. Like, that's pretty lofty goals, no?
Yeah, I mean, it's ambitious, it's delusional, it's all those things. But I guess as an athlete, you're saying to yourself, you know, I want to play at a high level. I want to win a championship. I want to win an MVP. The ultimate goal is to get back to the NFL. Look, our buddy
I want to shoot 68 consistent.
Yep.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Look, for Chad, here we go. Well done, Curtis. For Chad, the number one thing is get through a season healthy, playing at a high level, and not have any setbacks. And the idea of going to the NFL, you know, he's 32 now, would be 33 next year, et cetera, is very far-fetched. I'm not going to say it's altogether impossible, but with his track record of off-field stuff and then a massive injury like this that knocked him out the entire season, he is not on anybody's radar. So, you know, our pal Doug Flutie was able to get back into the NFL in his mid-30s, different time, different era. I get where Chad's coming from. Of course, you have to think that way. Of course, I guess you have to talk that way. But if we're being honest with ourselves, come on.
Okay. First off, so are we going that he's fully healthy then?
Look, he says he is. He told Chris Thomason of the Denver Gazette that he is, and I believe it now. Like, it was a catastrophic injury in November of 2024. 18-month recovery sounds about right. You know, they had hopes that he was going to be able to come back at some point last season. I always thought that was all nonsense. Barney, like, there are people saying that Chad was going to be ready for training camp. I came on your show and told you the earliest that might happen is Labor Day. And then the Argos went off the rails and, you know, there was no need for it. If they were, I don't know, 6-4 last year at Labor Day, would things have been different? Maybe 7-4. But to me, like right now, I would say that, yeah, he's healthy, but now he's also been away from football for a long time. So they got to knock some rust off. It's a new coach. It's a new it's somewhat of a new receiving core from what he's used to. Different offensive line. Like, it's not just jumping on the bike and picking up where you left off. There's going to be a transition period, which is why not only will training camp be vital for Kelly, but the first month of the season in terms of how this is all going to unfold is going to be really critical too.
So there's probably a lot of listeners out there like myself until I went to old man Google and I'm like, hey, 2017, he's a 7th round pick, like last round.
He was Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
Like Brock
Mr.
Purdy.
Irrelevant.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago. He was just a reserve in the NFL for those years. Like do you know anything about his time in the NFL that anyone would be like, well, that kid showed promise? I remember.
Yeah, I mean, look, you go into a situation, he got into some off-field issues in college, off-field issues in the pros. That puts you behind the 8 ball. The fact that you're taking, it's amazing how much your draft position follows you where you go to. Like everyone's like, oh, he's a 7th round pick. He's a 7th round pick. There was no real, like there was a little bit of talk around him. But look, Chad Kelly's a starting quarterback in the CFL now. Chad Kelly's not going to the NFL. Chad Kelly right now has an opportunity to revive his career after a massive injury. Because remember, when he got hurt, and in the year or two before he got hurt, he was as dynamic a player that the league had. Then, of course, off-field issues in Toronto on top of it all, and he was suspended for the first 9 games of the season. So at this point, Chad Kelly has to reinvent himself as a franchise quarterback, as a healthy quarterback, for a new coach, and all those things. The NFL thing is just, it's the headline, it's the comment, but the Argos succeeded with him and were a disaster without him. And in a league that needs youngish quarterbacks to really emerge, the CFL needs Chad Kelly to rebound and have a big year. Because really, Barney, when you think about elite quarterbacks in the game, it's Nathan Rourke out there in BC, young quarterbacks. We'll see what happens with Davis Alexander. Is he going to stay healthy? Is he going to take another step forward? But then we're talking about Trevor Harris. We're talking about Bo Levi Mitchell. These guys aren't spring chickens. Like, their kids are closer to being, college players than their dads are.
Fajardo.
Vernon Adams.
The list goes. Collaros. But what do we expect with Mike Miller and Chad Kelly? Have you thought much about that?
I have, and I think it's going to be fine. Mike Miller was the quarterback's coach under Ryan Dinwiddie. So he and Chad would have spent a lot of time together in meeting rooms, on the practice field. Miller understands how Kelly operates, what makes him tick. They speak the same language. I would suspect that Chad is going to have a lot of input into game planning. He's going to have a lot of input in how the offense is going to be run. You're not having two people come in who don't know one another. They've known each other quite some time. So I just think from a starting standpoint, they are so far ahead of the game than a new coach and a quarterback otherwise would.
Is it safe to say that we will have a very competitive, I know it's early, very competitive East Division this year?
I really think so. Like, to me, this is the year Hamilton has to do it, because if not now, when, with Bo Levi and Kenny Lawler and where they are. Montreal is obviously coming off the Grey Cup appearance. If they can get a healthy Davis Alexander at quarterback for 18 games, what can they become? Ryan Dinwiddie goes into Ottawa with a lot of expectations. A dude who goes to the Argos, wins a couple of Grey Cups in quick order. They need to get their quarterback situation hammered out. And now if Chad Kelly returns to the Argos, what do they have going on in Toronto? So it's interesting. All of a sudden, there's an argument to be made, I think, that Hamilton can win the East, Montreal can win the East. Could Toronto surprise some people? Maybe. See what their offensive line looks like. I still think Ottawa's a little while away. But yeah, like there's a real competitive deal going on there.
Yeah, and I think that's just what Ottawa wants everybody to say, is there a little bit of ways. And then I'm very interested to see how our new coaches to new players and everything works in Ottawa. Okay, it's Coast to Coast with Arash Madani for Brian Golly, Smart Investing Solutions. Obviously, we got to switch to my Blue Jays.
Your Blue
Shane,
Jays, of course.
Yeah. Shane Bieber, 60-day injured list. Yes, did I read that right?
Yeah. And the apologists will tell you, Barney, that this was the plan all along. The realists will tell you the Blue Jays have continued to really lie about where he's at and, he's just going to miss a little bit of time. And, yeah, we're going to be slow in getting him going. Remember, Shane Bieber, had he been healthy coming out of last year, would have gotten a massive free agent deal anywhere. And when he signed a 1 year 15, 1 year 16, whatever it was with the Jays, you knew right away that health was the biggest issue. He's like, vibes and like teammates and, all these things. I'm going to bet on myself going into, because there's a lockout coming at the end of this year and, maybe a new CBA. It was all nonsense. Shane Bieber isn't healthy. Shane Bieber isn't right. Now, the earliest he is now eligible to come back to pitch is the 3rd week of May. I'll still take the over, So when Bieber's going to be back, when Bieber's going to be healthy is a real question mark that truly, Barney, in their heart of hearts, I'm not even sure the Blue Jays today, as we sit here on the 14th of April, really know when that is.
What's up with Springer? You got a broken toe or something?
Broken toe.
Ouch.
And they say he's hopefully just going to be out for the 10 days, and then we'll see from there. Whenever you hear, insert name here is a tough guy, that's when you know something's amiss. Like you look at where they are right now, 6-9, and a lot of questions, a lot of wonder. I think there were some people expecting regression with this team, especially after last year. Like everybody played out of their minds on a run to the World Series, and that's often what it takes for that to happen. But man, oh man, like it's been one thing after another for this team. Injuries, problems, and I thought George Springer was really going to take a step back this season, and now add the injury on top of it. This is where they are.
Max Scherzer, rough start on the weekend. I read that, didn't watch it. I know, disappointing. As the season goes, such a long season in baseball. As the season goes on, can Blue Jay fans, what can they expect from Scherzer? Can they count on him?
I don't think so. You're in your 40s. Last year was a thumb issue. Now they're talking forearm. This feels like a ticking time bomb situation. I wonder how long it's going to be before they put him on the injured list and try and get him right again. Remember, he didn't come into spring training until March. His deal has a small base salary with a lot of incentives. I don't think there were a lot of expectations that Scherzer was going to do it. So, look, Barney, they're in a situation right now where they can't rely on Max Scherzer. Trey Savage is on the injured list. Apparently, he's going to throw 70 pitches in a minor league game at full pop. Let's see where that is. Shane Bieber's done for a while. Who knows where Jose Barrios is? On and on it goes. And Cody Ponce tore his ACL and he's out for the year. So they're already in mid-April into patchwork mode of how to piece this whole thing together.
This is a loaded question. This is a tough question, a lot like the toilet question. How do they get out of the? How do they get out of this wreck so early, or do we just not panic? Chakai, long see. Like, how do you see them getting out of this?
Well, I mean, it's almost like you can't hit an 8-run home run. You can't have an 8-game winning streak in a day. So it literally has to be game by game, day by day. Like for the Blue Jays, the good news is they're 6-9. They're not, 30-50, but guys have really got to, they're not playing good baseball either. Tyler Heineman's throwing baseballs over the third baseman's heads. Offensive productivity hasn't really been there. The bullpen's been okay, not great. It's just a reminder for all of us, you just don't pick up where you left off last year. And that's a really good kind of reminder for all of us, because is this a good team? Maybe. Not probably, maybe. And I still think there's a lot that needs to be figured out here. So let's kind of see.
Okay, I want to leave you with a couple of other things. Leaving baseball. What did you think? I donated. I didn't win one single bet on the weekend when it comes to the Masters. What's your recap? What's your recap on the Masters? Happy for Rory. I watched the documentary. I like it. I feel like I know him. What's your recap of it?
I thought Rory played such a smart round of golf on Sunday. He did enough to win. Like he didn't have to overextend himself. He understood what the assignment was. So often you hear about athletes saying, "Oh, you're trying to do too much." Rory McIlroy understood what he had to do to win the tournament and just did enough. I don't know if you saw the story, Barney. I thought this was amazing that Rory, he lives in Florida, and this is the joys of being Rory McIlroy, and you have the financial means to do it. He would drop his daughter off at school, jump on a private jet, go play Augusta National, fly home, and be with the family for dinner that night. He didn't play Houston, didn't play San Antonio. He's like, I'm way better off doing that than this. And so,
I thought it was interesting. I love that because I was going to bring that up. What a life, and it's Augusta. Like flying anywhere to play a round of golf and then flying home and then having supper with your family is one thing, but it's Augusta. Like, okay, I love it. But I love the fact that his interview, he's like, I don't like those tournaments. So those organizers at Houston, they're probably like, come on, man.
What did I do to you, Rory? Why are you MFing my event? Like, where did But Barney, let's be honest. How many times have you gone to play golf and you didn't make it home for dinner?
Let's not bring that up.
Yeah, right.
Season's early. Canadians, though. Yeah. Canadians, though, like Nick Taylor tied for 41st, and then Connors tied T49. I was hoping, I was expecting, I bet on Connors top 10 finish, but just not a good showing for the Canadians.
Yeah,
it's tough.
No, and it's tough. Yeah. It's so interesting too. Just to going into Sunday, there were a lot of dudes in the hunt. A lot of guys right there. You're like, they can win this thing. Sunday at Augusta is a different beast. And,
that was the best.
Everyone talks about championship experience. That's championship experience right there.
Because it was like going into Saturday, it's like, 6 shots. It's going to be a blow. It's going to be a runaway. And then it was like when you got to Saturday night and into Sunday, it's like you knew it was going to be good. Like this is, and then Scheffler wasn't going anywhere, as boring as he is. He even gave a fist pump, just showing such passion for the game. Okay, last thing I know we'll probably talk about this more on Thursday and as we go along here. Who are you most happy for that made the NHL playoffs?
Oh, Buffalo. Buffalo. It's been such a long time for them. Man, you think about a market that needs to get back into the playoffs and what that building will be like. Buffalo will be all of it. So that's the one that really stands out to me.
I'm happy for Ottawa. And as crazy as Philly fans are,
they were there last year, though, the Senators,
Yeah. Rick Tocchet, I'm like, good on him. Got out of that dumpster fire in Vancouver, went over there. Montreal fans, I think we have to brace ourselves. Montreal fans are going to be coming hot and heavy that they're going to be hoisting. We got a lot to talk about Thursday. We're going to start our Kenniston Super Draft, filling out the Super Draft. So I'm going to need some players and some matchups from you on who you think is.
Ready for you, sir.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for hopping on. I do this a little bit early today on the pre-record. It's what we do. We got to get things done, and have a good couple of days, and we'll catch up on Thursday.
All right. Thanks, brother.
There it is. Coast to Coast with Arash Madani, brought to you by Brian Golly, Smart Investing Solutions. It's a SportsCage. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Kellen Solar, clutch performer. I actually have two. I don't know if I go my first one. Let's go to keep it sports for the first one. Colson, do you have one? Any
today,
basketball today? Nothing? Okay.
No. Well, I mean, if you want to go unclutch my my Raptors tip for you from last week.
What was it again?
The Raptors to be within 5 of the Knicks.
Oh, yeah.
I saw the game at halftime. I was like, 20 points. Great.
Oof. Mine is Rick Tocchet. Get the heck out of, like I said to Arash, Vancouver. Go back to where you played, old number 22, tough, the Philly, Broad Street. And he gets him into the playoffs. As of last night, I know some Philly fans, I know some people in Philly that I'm starting now to see on the social medias, and I'm happy for them because they're good people. These people are good people. But Rick Tocchet, he's my clutch performer. I think it's awesome. We do have some audio from Rick Tocchet's post-game press conference last night.
Rick, when we talked to the players in the locker room, they were very visibly emotional. Just for you as a coach and a former Flyer, what's that emotion?
I was emotional. I didn't talk very much, though. No, just really proud of those guys right from training camp. Like, we actually it actually motivated some of the guys. We put up a preseason prediction, and we hit a lot of you guys had us, not you. A lot of people had us last, and I put it up there to make those guys understand the position we're in. It was all them. So really proud of the way they stuck together since training camp. And this is a tough game. Carolina's a tough team. I know they had 6-7 guys out, but they just they didn't give in, and we had to earn it, and we did.
The fact that you had to come from behind, is that sort of par for the course for this group and sort of how they've kind of approached us?
Yeah, we've come from behind a lot this year. So there's a lot of fight in this team. Obviously, to be 2-0, power play goal, beautiful. Get that really helps. So a lot of good things happen for us.
Some of the guys were saying that the California trip was a real turning point.
Yeah.
Did you see that too? And what did you see, I guess, coming out of that the rest of the way?
Well, I just saw a real grind attitude. Like, it was just, you could just tell. Like, even when we won the next day of practice, guys were like, it wasn't, guys were, hey, we're going to dinner. It was very even keel. And I remember talking to the coaches after the second game we won, tough back-to-back, and I go, man, these guys they're starting to feel it.
You weren't sure if you'd ever see him again this season for him to get the shootout.
Yeah. So little Rick Tocchet getting the Philadelphia Flyers back in to the postseason. Now, actually, no, before we go to that, my second clutch performer, I can't believe the words that are going to come out of my mouth, for starters. Colson, you're not going to be able to believe the words that are coming out of my mouth, for starters.
I am curious.
And don't want to seem like a rube. I'm getting the old wool pulled over my eyes, as they say, which is quite possible. It happens. My second clutch performer, better clip this, is Mark Carney. His elbows up guy and his government, they are suspending Canada's fuel tax for nearly 5 months. I read it starts next week and it goes till Labor Day. Watch the text messages come in. Oh boy. But what is it? What is it? Roughly 10 cents?
That's what I read. Yeah.
I like how they go the roughly. 10 cents.
Depends on the price of gas at the time, I guess.
Well, we talked to Farhan last week on the West Coast. They were sitting at about $2.17, he said.
Yeah.
But I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I think thank you is in order. That's probably the first and last time he's going to get one from me. Still weird, dancing with his wife with his elbows up. But hey, every little bit helps this summer as people mosey around. Love that word. The country and get out and travel. It's 10% on gas, and then how much on diesel? Is it less on diesel, like 5%? Which farmers are probably now they're going to tell you, be like, Barney, shut up. It's only like we need the farmers do need a break. Diesel's expensive right now.
Yeah, until September 7th. So yeah, after Labor Day.
We're gonna have to pay for it somewhere else.
Oh yeah.
And yeah. I don't know where gas prices are going.
Full rate of 10 cents per liter for gasoline and 4 cents per liter of diesel fuel.
4 cents for diesel? Come on. I might take back my clutch performer.
And aviation fuel.
Take it back. 4 cents on aviation fuel?
Okay.
Percentage?
I'll just read the whole thing.
Okay.
The return rate to the full rate of 10 cents per liter for gasoline and unleaded aviation gasoline, and 4 cents per liter for diesel fuel and aviation fuel other than aviation gasoline. Clear as mud.
Clear as mud. I was just going to say that. Okay, anyway. I think it's a good thing. Thanks. I got to break at the pumps.
I thought you were going to say Scotty Scheffler with his bad question thing.
Oh, do we want to go to that now? Kellen Solar's getting their money worth. The only other thing before I get going, you will not remember this. I remember this. There's people out there that remember. Like Lauren, who messaged in, says, I'm 73. So I remember leaded gas. And then there was unleaded. And my mom would fill up the station wagon in Prince Albert on the way to Wasco all the time. It's like leaded, unleaded. And I'm like, what? And then once I got my license and all that, it was just straight unleaded.
Yeah.
Makes me think what was the deal?
I knew a bit about this at one point. My dad used to work in fuel hauling with trucking and stuff, so I knew a bit more than I should have, but that was also back when I was like young, so like I knew a decent amount when I was like 10 years old, but it is gone now. So
and then I remember going having buddies that lived on farms, and then I learned about dyed diesel. And then it's like you can't get caught putting dyed diesel in your half ton or vehicle. It's like, what are the chances? Who's checking that? What are they sticking in to check that? So 936-6262. Stupid city kid here. Let me know. How has anyone ever got pulled over and they check you for dyed diesel in a half ton? That maybe it was an old wives' tale. I was young. I was
young and impressionable.
They were like, let's watch this stupid idiot from the city believe us on the dyed diesel. But yeah, leaded fuel. I think a bunch of you out there will remember that. Okay, Kellen Solar Power, if you're thinking about it, local company from Lumsden, Saskatchewan, their clutch performer. Let's go to the Scottish. Do you have the clip?
I do.
This bothered me as a pseudo reporter / broadcaster for 29-ish years of my life. If no one caught this, I think this was Saturday after his round at the Masters.
Scotty, that was a 65 today. What did it feel like it could have or should have been? That's just a terrible question. Next question. Awful.
No, it's not. I don't know if he doesn't like that reporter, because that's the other thing. And I've seen this. And you've seen when coaches don't like reporters and they go off. Mm-hmm. Play it again, just for people that have never heard it. This isn't a bad question.
Scotty, that was a 65 today. What did it feel like it could have or should have been? That's just a terrible question. Next question. Awful.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Sometimes when you're golfing, and I've heard similar questions to that asked, where it's like, or golfers will come out and they'll be like, yeah, like that was 68, but it felt like 80, or vice versa, or it felt like 58. Like I thought I could shoot a 59 today. It felt low, and I'm like, come on, Scotty. Scotty is so boring, and maybe that's the personality that I want. Maybe I'm being hypocritical here. But did you think that was a bad question?
It seems reasonable to me. It's like, this is how you did. Do you think it was better or worse than that? How did you feel?
The other thing, though, when you really start to listen to questions at a press conference or post game or whatever, even my questions, you could really say that about any question. Well, that's a dumb question.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not answering that. It's just the person wants to be a D-bag.
Yeah.
And maybe Scotty didn't like that reporter. I don't know. He went out. He had a heck of a day. But it's a very fair question. So when I saw him snap on that, I was like, I don't like Scotty at the best times. Now I really don't like Scotty.
I think there's a few questions that you can very easily chuck into that's a dumb question category. Like, is this a must-win game? Especially before, the Super Bowl or Grey Cup. Don't ask it then, definitely. But outside of that,
I don't know if Curtis is listening down the hall from the Double C's. Curtis does a really good job of dumb press conference / interview questions. He does a good job of it.
He's good.
He'll be like, I don't want to impersonate, but he does. Yeah, I don't know. I think that was a fair question. Scotty, pound it. You just made a bad day. Didn't like the reporter. All that. Clutch performer again for Glen Suitor in Lumsden, Saskatchewan. If you're thinking solar saving some money, they can come out and quote for you. And then, of course, they got you all hooked up solar style with your livestock operation as well.
We got a text in from Glenn here. There was dyed gasoline, and if you worked on an off-farm job, you could get checked and fined if caught.
Okay, thank you. Who was that?
Glenn. I don't see where he's from.
Glenn on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. Thank you very much, because I remember my buddy. He drove a maroon Sunfire. We all had a buddy, or we all had a Sunfire at some point in our life. It was like a Cavalier and Sunfire. Two of the most common cars from 1990 to, I don't know, 2001. Maybe even beyond.
There was a handful of them when I was in high school, so they went for a while.
Yeah, so my buddy, this farm, I'm not going to say names, and I haven't even talked to the guy in 30-some years. He would put fuel in from the farm, from the tanks.
Yeah.
So that was dyed too. Apparently. So dyed gasoline. Okay, now that all makes sense. It'd be like, we can't get caught. We can't get caught. Who the heck is catching this and going through that? Obviously, I remember, Glenn, you could get fined and caught. Pat is weighing in. Holy, come on. Yes, they actually use large syringe and pulled out some fuel and put it in a clear vial to check the color. Highway Patrol does it on the ones who check weigh-ins. Okay, so because my next question was going to be for Pat, is I can't see an RCMP officer doing this. Highway Patrol, that makes sense. Anybody out there, when's the last time Highway Patrol stopped you and checked your vehicle for dyed gasoline? Come on.
Oh, boy. But yeah, dyed gasoline or marked fuel is dyed because it's a tax exempt or taxed at a lower rate, typically for off-road, farming, construction, etc. So yeah, it makes sense then why people would be using it for their regular vehicles and stuff. I get that now.
I would risk it. I'd still risk it. Anybody wants me to come out to their farm, I'll pay you cash. If it saves me money, I'm good running the risk. Go ahead, check my SUV. Brad, up in Saskatoon, sitting in our science lab in 1979 in Porcupine Plain, Saskatchewan, we watched the highway traffic officers pull into our school's parking lot and start checking vehicles for pure gas. Dyed gasoline sold to farmers for farm use. That's in brackets. They used a long, flexible device like a turkey baster, there we go, to get some out of the tank. Fines were issued to some farm students that day.
Oof.
Oh my, look at the text messages coming in. I love the SportsCage listeners. I love it. I'm learning so much today.
So it was often dyed purple, so it's also just called purple gas, is what I'm learning here.
Wow. I wish our text line wasn't so slow. Remember the purple gas? I also remembered in small towns, the RCMP go up and down the streets checking all vehicles for purple gas. Well, everyone within the bar, everyone was in the bar. The farmers are allowed to have it in their trucks, but not their cars, if I remember correctly. For sure. RCMP, though? Or was it the highway?
Well, if it's small town Sask RCMP, I could see doing it too, but...
Rose, who was our expert on space exploration, thanks, Rose, for listening again. It was called purple gas, and yes, they did check.
Wild.
I love the last 7 minutes of my life. From clutch into that was awesome. How did we even get on that? I think I just started telling a story with the fuel tax.
Yeah,
and
fuel tax.
Carney giving us 10 cents back fuel-wise, and then I went into my buddies. They used to have purple or dyed gas. And I'm like, come on, who's checking? And apparently.
Highway Patrol, that's the answer. We learned today.
Okay. What's that?
Tease trivia.
Yes, trivia. How do you want to do it today? Do you want to do the...
Give the question and put a break.
Yeah. Okay, we'll give the question. And then we're going to go to break. 936-6262. If you haven't won anything in the last 30 days on CKRM, we're playing for $100 at PumpJacks Cathedral. PumpJacks Cathedral, Albert and 13th in Regina. Fantastic. Probably the best chicken fingers you're ever going to eat, by the way. The question today, WHL, as the Blades and Raiders get set to play Game 3 of their Western Hockey League playoff series tonight in Saskatoon. Who is the Prince Albert Raiders' all-time leading goal scorer? 936-6262. Who is the Prince Albert Raiders' all-time leading goal scorer? If you know, and you haven't won anything in the last 30 days, call right now. It's the SportsCage, where we talk sports and other things. We'll be back after this. Look at these text messages on dyed diesel and now we're getting into F plates. Oh, love the SportsCage listeners. But it's time to play PumpJacks Cathedral Trivia for PumpJacks Cathedral, 13th and Albert in Regina. Taps, Kerwin's crispy ribs. Like I said, the chicken fingers, best in the league by far. Who do we have? Cyril on the line today. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Did you ever put dyed fuel in your vehicle?
Yes. Right, like dyed, regular, unleaded.
Yeah.
Right. I grew up on a farm.
Yeah. Okay, so you did it legally. You're all on the up and up.
Yeah. And the RCMP did check my dad one time, and they were going to give him a ticket, and my dad said, "Look at the plate." He's driving a half ton. He said, "What do you mean? Look at the plate. What about it?" It's an F plate.
F-plate.
It's a F-plate. It's a farm vehicle. I'm
Love
allowed
it.
to use purple unleaded fuel.
What was your dad's name?
Donald Spencer.
Where were you? Where were you guys from? What area?
McLean.
Right on.
East of Regina.
Yeah. Donald told that guy what's up. Let's go. All right, Cyril. You're playing for $100 at PumpJacks Cathedral. The question is, name the Prince Albert Raiders' all-time leading scorer.
Dan Hodgson.
Boom. Out of the bag. 493 points, Cyril. That guy was an absolute weapon back in the day.
I remember early 80s.
Yeah, wasn't he good? All right. Thanks for calling in and playing along. Stay on the line. Colson's going to take your information. You got $100 to PumpJacks Cathedral. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Right on. Cyril, his dad was Donald from the McLean area, telling us what's it like. My text system is not moving fast enough to keep up with all these text messages. Alan's saying RCMP checked for purple. As a teenager out at the lake, we got pulled over, smoking hot out. The officer spent half an hour trying to get a sample, finally gave up. My friend had a hole in his gas tank, so he had the fuel line running to a jerry can in the trunk. Really? Alan, really? Interesting. That was great. We got to go to break here, and then we're going to come back with the ticker. And then also, if you missed it, since everyone's sizzling on the text line, you might as well text in the keyword to try and win our backyard putting green from the Classic Landscape Company. We'll go to break. We'll come back. We'll do ticker and give you that code word today. It's a SportsCage for Saskatchewan Lotteries on this Tuesday. All right, Western Hockey League up in Saskatoon tonight. We're going to talk to Les Lazaruk in a bit. I think there's close to 6,000 already. I don't know what it'll get to, but it'll be rocking tonight. If you're up in the area, go check it out. Puck drop 7 p.m. Raiders 2-0 series lead there. Elsewhere, if you want to watch online or if you're listening in Prince George, 8 p.m. puck drop. Penticton's in town. The Cougars lead that series 2-0. Everett's in Kelowna. Silvertips are leading 2-0. SJHL pause. We talked to Clark Munroe in hour 1. Game 7's tomorrow. You're lucky if you're in Flin Flon and Yorkton. Watch some Game 7 puck. National Hockey League, everything's decided for the postseason. So, Winnipeg, how did you miss the postseason? We got to touch on that tomorrow. Winnipeg's at Utah tonight. Colorado's at Calgary. Vancouver home to the Kings. Major League Baseball starting at 5:40. Blue Jays are in Milwaukee to take on the Brewers. SportsCage.com poll today. What sports stories interested you most from the weekend? Vote at SportsCage.com, where they also have the story about Brad Haroff and Ryan Smith's contracts not being extended by the Regina Pats. We talked to Dale Derkatch in hour 1. We're going to replay some of that in hour 3. Sports Ticker is for Extreme Hockey and Sport more than hockey. If you're thinking baseball, lacrosse right now, they can hook you up. They're local. They support local. 3 locations, McIntyre Street in Regina, the Cooperator Center, and now in Moose Jaw at Temple Garden Center. All right, welcome back. Hour 3 of the show for Saskatchewan Lotteries. Like he said today, Colson's with me. If you missed any of it, you can go back and listen in podcast form. Dale Derkatch off the start, general manager of the Regina Pats, talking about Brad Haroff and Ryan Smith, their contracts not being extended, so they'll be looking for a new coach and assistant coach for the Pats. We're going to run part of that again here in hour 3. Of course, Arash Madani, Clark Munroe in hour 1. We went into the SJHL, some really cool stories and stats there from Clark Munroe as we get set for Game 7s on 2 fronts tomorrow night. Rash was in, we started something in hour 2 about, it started with Carney's government and giving him a plug for Clutch Performer. I know, weird, because they're getting rid of the gas tax or fuel tax for a bit. And then I went into, what about this dyed fuel and dyed gas back in the day? And people, it's a legit thing. And no word of a lie, I can't even count how many text messages with people giving us their stories. Like Darren with our grain truck at about 3 miles to the gallon, still no deal to run it on the road. Spoiler alert, no such thing as purple gas anymore, he said. Oh, man. Wanted some of that action. Darren, and then even Cyril with his dad, Donald, and the PumpJacks messaged in saying, oh, yeah, they used to test it. There was a turkey baster style thing, as a number of people have said. Roscoe's got a story. RCMP checking, I don't know. One thing I didn't do, and I lied, sorry, but I'm getting to it now. The Classic Landscape Company and the SportsCage giving you a chance to win a backyard putting green. That's right. Backyard putting green, real installed, legit Classic Landscape Company, pro work. It's the winner will be announced May 1st. There's daily keywords every show for the shot at being a qualifier. So today, for this part of the text line, because how the computer works and it's really fancy, you just need to text in the word golf. GOLF. That's it. If you want to be entered to win the backyard putting green from the Classic Landscape Company. We'll talk more about that tomorrow as someone from the Classic Landscape Company is coming in. I got questions. Everyone wants a backyard putting green, even if you don't golf. It just looks cool. Hey, look at my backyard putting green. Also,
I don't have a backyard, and my wife and I had the same idea because it's just mud in our backyard. It's like, well, if we win, they could just give us a backyard, basically, right?
Yeah.
But we're renting, so not actually going to do that because that'd be free for our landlord then.
I want to ask the Classic Landscape Company, how hard is it to put one in the basement? I've seen people do that. Fancies. People, those kind of people don't have to worry about dyed diesel and fuel. The Kenniston Super Draft is back, by the way. We got a week. You got till next Monday at 6 p.m. to get in. I'm getting in. $80,000 up for grabs again. First place is $20,000. Lotto Lawrence is jacked to come on Friday and go through this because he's won cake. He's won real lettuce on this thing. The Super 8, $10,000 up for grabs. Again, the deadline's next Monday. You go online, superdraft.com, and print off or fill out your entries. What do we got here? One entry, chance to win 20 grand, is only $40. But you can do the big, you can go in with people like I do. Friends, plural. 7 32-player Super Draft entries for $200. There you go. Superdraft.com. I don't know, though, who I'm loading up on yet. That's going to have to be determined with you, the SportsCage listeners, over the next few days. Okay. A lot of housekeeping there. We got done, Colson. Let's get into it with Glen Suitor.
Time now for press coverage with CFL and Saskatchewan Rough Rider legend Glen Suitor on the SportsCage. Brought to you by Freeze Tome and Lumber. Locally owned, family grown, rooted in our community for 70 years in Regina and Fort Capel.
Have you been listening, sir?
Every time I listen, Barney, which is almost every time that I have the hit coming up, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so I'll be listening from the very top of the show all the way through, no matter what I'm doing. I just plug it in, listen as I walk around on the stream. Sometimes I'll watch it too to see what you guys are doing. And every single time, no matter what I think our topics of discussion will be when we do the hit, it always kind of alters and changes because I'm going, I got to weigh in on this.
That's the beauty of the SportsCage, buddy.
Yeah, and you guys, I mean, you're talking about washing hands.
Okay, let's go there first.
Okay.
So some people probably haven't tuned in since the beginning of the show. And this was the Cooperator Center in in Regina here. In the stalls now, there's a water-saving dual-function handle. What would you call this? A sign? What in the?
It's a sign of the flusher.
Yeah. So there's a sign in every stall, and it says it's the handle up for liquid waste, down for solid waste. Now, at a public facility, I just was in Vegas, hockey rinks, anything like that, casinos, concert venues. I don't know how many people are touching handles on toilets. And if you do have the knobby thing here, like we've all seen in our lives, aren't you just stepping down and getting out? Glenn, where do you land on that?
Okay. Well, this is a one that, with all the travel that I do, it has become a worse and worse issue for me. I'm sort of on the border of being obsessive compulsive when it comes to this, especially after the pandemic, but that just turned it up another notch. But even if you do touch the handle, which I haven't since probably college, when I was trying to figure out when my class and where it was, and running into bathrooms then, like, I haven't touched a handle since then. And if you had to, it is completely wrapped in tissue and paper towel, and you touch it and that paper towel goes in. I'm the guy who walks out of the bathroom with paper towel, opens the door of the bathroom, and then drops the paper towel in the garbage as I walk out. Or hopefully time it up so that someone's coming in, so I can kind of turn my shoulders sideways and sneak out.
Okay. Yeah, I know you're kind.
Yeah. So I mean, Barney, when I get in planes now, I'll sit down and get the wipe out, like the disinfectant wipe, and wipe down the table, the whole arm rests and everything. Yeah. I mean, I just, it's become worse and worse. And here's why. There are some things that happen on planes and stuff that I think the people, when the flight attendant does the thing, rather than show us how to put a seatbelt together, which if we don't know, you're not allowed to fly anymore. But
or smoking, or if you got to tell people you can't smoke on the plane, get off.
Let's upgrade that and say a couple of things. One is, let's not. I'll just say it. There's no farting on the plane. Okay, so stop that. Like I'd like to see the attendants do that. You only go number 2 in the bathroom if it's an absolute emergency. That is not there. You should have thought of that before you got on the plane. And here's another one that drives me crazy, is when the flip-flop comes off and the leg comes up over the knee, and that nasty foot of yours is right near my tray and right in like my side of that seat. And I'm just like, dude.
I don't do that with a stranger beside you.
That's what people do. And I've even seen people, no one believes me on this, but a couple of times a person has clipped their toenails.
No, it's sick.
See, now, so with all this happening on, all of these flights that I've taken, well over 2 million miles now on Air Canada, all of these flights, and I have become this hand sanitizer, bathroom paranoia, get on the plane, it just, I don't know, man. I just...
You're flying with toenail clipper guy. That I asked my kids this on the way back from Nevada last week. I said, am I okay? Because the kids do it. My kids do the Birkenstocks sandal flip-flop things with socks on. And I said, well, am I okay to wear socks? I have the grossest toes in the history of the league. There's no doubt about it. Anybody that's ever known me will tell you that. But am I okay to go socks and flippy floppies? And my kids said yes. And we're all sitting together. Is that okay in your books?
Yeah, socks are good. Socks are fine. Okay. Socks are absolutely fine because it's all contained. I don't have to look at your foot or smell your foot. And especially if you were in a hurry and you run on the flight and then you take off your shoe and you take off your sock and I have to look at your nasty toenail.
No,
anyway.
You don't sit beside a stranger and start doing that with your family. Yeah. But you've really gallivanted with some weirdos, Glenn, to be honest. Okay, and have you ever heard your Sasky days? Like this went off the charts on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. This dyed diesel and dyed fuel, and how the RCMP and Highway Patrol used to check people.
Yeah, this is the beauty of the cage, because not only do you get engaged with these discussions. I was talking out loud to my dog today, listening about the hand wiping and everything, and then you guys got into the colored diesel stuff. But now I'm being educated, because I swear I had no idea that there was like a fake diesel thing. And then you went into the discussion on Carney and the gas tax, and I thought, okay, I'm going to lose my mind here trying to get involved with this, because by the way, and I'm not being political here, the opposition has been saying we should cut the gas tax for the last 2 months, if anyone was listening. But anyway,
Okay.
Thank you for that, for giving us whatever it is, 10% or 4 cents or whatever. Here in Vancouver, we're talking about $2.20 a liter. Like, dude, come on. It's just, come on.
Okay, we will talk some sports here. I have Rob Vanstone coming in tomorrow, and I haven't read them yet, but he's doing this piece on the Darian Durant trade from a while back. So that'll be really cool. But then Tegan and Dave yesterday with Colson, they had Darian on and kind of made some news, Colson.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen the news, Glenn, but Darian basically outright said that when he was in the States, got cut from the Ravens, he then went to a tryout down there that the Riders were having for Roy Shivers, fully knowing that he was on the neg list for another team. So that's, not something that's supposed to happen. Now, again, this is 20
diesel.
Again, this is 20 years ago, so whatever. But Darian fully came out and said that it happened, and that Roy had to keep things under wraps until he could orchestrate the trade.
Yeah, I did see that. I did hear that. I have read part of that article, and the only reason I had to go because I had to take my dog out, but I got to get back to it because that is interesting, and I forgot about the fact that those two quarterbacks are championship quarterbacks. When you talk about Kerry Joseph and Darian Durant and what Roy Shivers did, when we're talking about cutting corners, breaking the rules, I'll put it this way: they're in there for a purpose, but the old "if you're not cheating, you're not trying" is certainly relevant, and there is nobody in pro sports that is completely, clean
above board.
There's nobody in pro sports that has said, I have never broken any of these rules. I have never listened to some player agent tell me about another player who's on a neg list come on. Let's just be honest and say what it is. And when we're talking about stuff that shouldn't happen versus stuff that does, man, when I watch the news today, and I watch the news every night, there's a whole lot of stuff going on that shouldn't happen that does. I'm loving now, and I'm ranting now, but I'm loving when I hear people go, that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
I mean, can we get rid of that saying, that's unacceptable?
Oh, buddy, I know. That's unacceptable. Or, well, I'm offended.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah. Like it's already been accepted. But the reason we're asking you the question is because it happened. So if it happened, it's been accepted, and now you can't say, well, that's unacceptable, like it's some sort of I've had enough, and Anyway.
I'm surprised. I like him. I did the show a long time with him. Surprised Darian came out and said that.
Oh yeah, I mean, sure, why not? I mean, like at the end of the day, what are they going to do? Go back and take the ring away, or are they going to go back and take his money, or like it's. Listen, if you can get an edge in pro sports, and I mean, I wouldn't condone going crazy on breaking all the rules and getting yourself suspended. And then, because we've talked about many times that time is the most important currency for a pro athlete, because you just don't have very much of it, and you better spend it properly, or else, you're going to wake up one morning and your 4 years of pro sports that is about the average now is gone, and it's over, and that's it. That dream of playing professionally has disappeared that quickly. So be careful how far you want to cross over that line or push the elastic. But to say that any athlete, any GM hasn't ever tried to push that elastic, push the salary cap, circumvent the rules, get a little inside information from somebody that you're not supposed to get it from. I mean, the whole industry is built on it, really.
I agree, and you know the ins and outs way better than anybody here. Hey, I wanted to get your take. I don't know if you listened to our segment with Arash as well, with Kelly keeping the door open for an NFL return. Love the gumption. What's your take there?
Yeah, it was a great discussion, and from the outside, I think people will know that this is predictable for me. But if it was just about his talent, he'd be playing in the NFL. He could be playing in the NFL. But the circumstance of his injury, the age that he's at now, the fact that he hasn't played in almost 2 years, year and a half now, that the fact that, he has sort of, he's got a lot of hills to climb before he can get back. I agree with Arash on that. Like he has to show that he can still go out there and get it done. I mean, that doesn't matter the level or the league. You still have to show that you can get it done coming off an injury like he's had. So that's his most important priority. If it was about talent, he could play in the NFL. But if it was about, if they look at his age and that industry or injury, they're going to look at it and say no. That's the politics of the National Football League. It's like if you come from the U of S and not Alabama, and you're not a top draft pick, your chance of making that team drop drastically because you don't get the same reps that Alabama got. Yeah. So, there's that stuff is happening. And then you add the guy that's in his mid-30s and a guy who's coming off, 18 months of not playing and the injury that he had and the severity of it. It's, hey, I'd like to make $30 million a year working for Fox or ABC.
I would like if you did that too, because then, we'd be closer. I'd come and visit more often. I wanted to get your take on this as a sportscaster and a guy who's interviewed. You've done everything. I don't know if you caught this. Scotty Scheffler, after his round on Saturday, the reporter asks the questions. This question, and then his response. Play it, Colson, please, and then we'll get Glen's take.
Scotty, that was a 65 today. What did it feel like it could have or should have been?
That's just a terrible question. Next question. Awful.
What enabled you to...
I don't think it's a bad question, Glen. I said this earlier. You've interviewed. Really, when you dissect it, every question could be stupid if an athlete wants to say it.
Yeah, first of all, from just that clip, clearly Scotty's perception of the question was that he was implying that it could have been a better round. There was a lot of leaps there for him to go there. So, in general, though, this to me, there's a bigger picture here, and I don't think an athlete should ever be rude to any question that's asked of them. It is always easy for any athlete, no matter win or lose, to stand in front of the mics and pivot if you don't like the question. If you don't like the question, don't answer it. But there's no reason to try to take out your frustration and your emotion on somebody who's just trying to do their job and ask the question. And people will say, well, yeah, but you're in the heat of the battle and you didn't play the way you wanted to play and you lost the game. And those emotions are allowed to come. No, it's not his fault or her fault that asked the question. There are a lot of dumb questions, but so what?
Yeah,
so what?
Exactly. I ask you dumb questions every day.
No,
you don't call me out.
But you know what I mean, Barney? Like, it's, I always say this, whenever you get into a situation where the frustration starts to build up inside, just think of the word professional and apply that to how you respond. You can't control what other people say or do, but what you can control is how you respond to it. And Scotty could have easily said, yeah, it was I missed a putt on 14 that I should have had, but I also hit the tree and got a good bounce on 18. So, I mean, he could have answered in 1,000 different ways, being, polite and professional to the reporter. There are dumb questions out there, but so what? If you're an athlete, you're going to be asked them, answer it, stand tall. If it's a tough question, answer it. I never side with the athlete who goes after, or the coach. I was telling Colson, when I was in Sports Center and working as a reporter and doing color, I'd go down to Canucks games when John Tortorella was the coach. and every single night we had to go and send a crew and a camera because John Tortorella might say something today. Like he might go off, and he might, and so you have to be there. And I saw him do that a few times with reporters. And every time I see it, I get frustrated and want to say, hold on. I think these questions are part of your job. And if you don't like it, then there's other things you can do in your life. Like when I'll tell you this too, Barney, when an athlete or a coach who's losing at halftime and takes a shot or is disrespectful to our sideline reporter on TSN, they need to know that I have another 30 minutes of football to come right back and tell the fan what that coach just did, and maybe the 6 decisions that he made that were dumb decisions on the field.
Yeah. Start going through the phone. The laundry list. Everybody. Hey, you keep receipts. We all keep receipts.
Yeah, exactly. So, be professional.
But you and I are good. You and I don't want you ever come back with me.
No, we're good. We're good. And listen, if you ask a question that I don't want to answer, I'll pivot.
You could be one of the best of that, and then you'll just take it and be like, what were we talking about again? I don't know. Okay, I need you to do me a favor when you come on Thursday with Sharky and I, the world famous Kenniston Super Draft. When you drive to Saskatoon, you see it up there. The players, because the teams are all set now. I'm just gonna pick your brain a bit on Thursday. Nothing intense. I'm gonna watch you maybe a couple of teams or who you're liking and players that you like, because I'm gonna fill one out here with SportsCage contributors and listeners. One of my entries is going to be one of those. So if you can do some research before Thursday at 5 p.m.
You got it, buddy. I'll be doing it, and I'll be listening in too, so I might be able to ask some dumb questions.
Is this a must-win game? Yeah. Okay. Okay, buddy. Go flush the toilet, wash your hands, do all that jazz.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It's weird for me.
Clip your toenails. Clip your toenails. Press coverage with Glen Suitor for Freeze Tallman Lumber, more than a lumber yard in Regina and Fort Capel. Delivery available if you're thinking about anything for the lake right now. It's Fort Capel, if you're around there, maybe the Katepwa, any of the lakes. I don't want to discriminate. Any of the lakes, they can deliver it out to you. Freeze Tallman, proud sponsor of press coverage with Glen Suitor. Okay, we'll go to break. We'll come back. We still got Les Lazaruk coming up. Maybe a little Dale Derkatch. Possibly. We'll see what we're doing for time. It is the Sports Cage and Sprinkle of the Day, streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. Got playoff hockey in Saskatoon, 7 p.m. puck drop. Prince Albert's in town. The Raiders lead that series 2-0 against the Blades. Penticton's in Prince George. Cougars up 2-0. And Everett at Kelowna. 8 p.m. start there. Everett leads the best of 7-2 zip. National Hockey League, kind of nothing games now. Winnipeg's in Utah. Calgary is home to the Colorado Avalanche, and Vancouver welcomes Los Angeles. Those are your Canadian teams in action. Major League Baseball, Blue Jays in Milwaukee. First pitch supposed to be in about 4 minutes time. For Regina Steelcraft Doors, made in Western Canada for Western Canada. You need a garage door. They got 40,000 square feet now. They can hook you up. Regina Steelcraft Doors. Okay, sprinkle of the day, Colson. I think you said Dave and Tegan were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah, they were surprised to find WrestleMania as an option.
SportsSelect.com. You can go online, go under futures, and if you're a wrestling fan, if you like, I don't know, who's there? Ted DiBiase? Coco Beware? I have not watched wrestling, but you can bet on the wrestling matches for WrestleMania 42. And isn't it like 2 nights or something in Las Vegas? I think so. But there you go. If you are into wrestling and you want to sprinkle a little bit, you can go in. What's your pick? Let's go.
Gotta go with Sasky boy, Brock Lesnar, right?
Brock Lesnar from Merrifield. Now he's living in Calgary, though, against Obafemi. Lesnar's the underdog. 290. It is scripted. You'd think okay. SportsSelect.com. Make your picks online. Now generate a QR code. Then you go to your Lotto Spot retailer, scan it, and you got your ticket. Or you can fill it out regular style. Must be 18 plus to play. Play responsibly. When you're ready to bet on the original Sports Select. Bet on wrestling. Bet on wrestling. Okay. Backyard Putting Green again for Classic Landscape Company. We're going to talk about more today. The keyword today was golf, 936-6262. We're getting set up in Saskatoon. A lot of text messages from Saskatoon today. Blades and Prince Albert Raiders coming up tonight. When we come back from the break, we are going to hear from voice of the Saskatoon Blades, Les Lazaruk. It's a SportsCage and the home of local sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM. What a time for junior hockey. SJ's going to Game 7. And then the Western Hockey League playoffs continue tonight up the road in Saskatoon. Prince Albert Raiders, Saskatoon Blades, 7 p.m. at the former facility known as Sask Place. Used to have great French fries. Les Lazaruk, voice of the Saskatoon Blades, joining us here on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline before the game tonight. Prince Albert Raiders in Saskatoon. Les, after the first 2 games, how do the Blades get back in this series?
They get back in by playing a near-perfect game is what they have to do. I mean, there's such a disparity in level of play between these two teams, and not just in this series, but throughout the regular season. I mean, Prince Albert won 52 games. The Blades won 34. The Raiders had 110 points in the standings. The Blades had 75. So, and then head-to-head during the regular season, the Raiders won 6 of 8, including the last 2 by 4-0 scores in the regular season-ending home-and-home series. So it's a daunting task playing the Raiders at the best of times for a lot of teams in the Western Hockey League. They're a wagon. It's as simple as that, Barney. Mm-hmm. They're a very good team, maybe the best, or at least at worst, in my mind, the second best team in the league. The only one maybe better would be Everett, and I don't see them enough to know for sure. But I think that the Raiders are a better team than Medicine Hat Tigers, and that'll not make me very popular in Med Hat, but I really don't care. I really think what I know of the Raiders, they probably got a bit of an edge on the Medicine Hat Tigers.
I watched Game 1. And I'm really trying to remember the last time I saw a team kind of, I guess, not be able to get any shots on net in a playoff game. And then Saturday night, the Blades only have 3 in the first period again. What do the Raiders do to just not give up many shots, do you think?
Well, they do an excellent job of getting in the way. They block more than I think they get to Mikhail Orszalak in goal. And they do an excellent job with sticks. They deflect a lot of passes. The Blades probably, when they get in over the blue line, should probably just think about putting the puck on net and crashing the crease and seeing what they can do to cause some confusion for Orszalak and the defense. Because right now, any fancy passing or any kind of passing period just seems to be broken up. The Raiders just seem to have them pre-scouted so well, know all of their tendencies, and as a result, it makes the Blades look a little bit on the inept side offensively. When everybody knows that's not the case, because all you have to do is just take a look at what they've done throughout the regular season. And even in the playoff series against Edmonton, they were able to make things happen against the Oil Kings. They outshot the Oil Kings in all but one game in that best-of-7 series. So, give the Raiders all the credit in the world for being really well prepared. And I'm not saying that the Blades aren't prepared. I just think that this is a team that's really, really good, and if they're prepared and ready to go, which they were in Game 1, right from the get-go, they're pretty tough to beat. You have to play near perfect in order to have a hope of beating them.
I think when you're in a series like this or you're playing hockey and you're a little outmatched, the Raiders are built to go deep here. If you get power plays, you have to somehow try and score on the power play. It's something the Blades couldn't do.
Yeah, they're 1 for 6 on the power play in the series. Their one and only goal in the series so far was on a power play. Now, mind you, it was already 6-0 in Game 1 when Zach Olson scored that power play goal. So who knows if the Raiders may have let the foot off the pedal. I think they did. They played, really good for the first 43 minutes, unbeatable hockey, and then, kind of left the foot off the gas. And for the final 17 minutes, the Blades were able to be a little more in sync and a little more in tune with what was going on. But, the Blades do indeed have to score on the power play, and that for them in this postseason has been a problem. They have not done very well on the power play. I think they're 18.2%. Regular season, they were 25. So that has to improve. If they're going to get chances with the man advantage, and if they get them tonight, they're going to have to connect. They need to score first, too. They can't be chasing the game all the time. They did great in Game 2, Barney, being able to stay scoreless with the Raiders with the help of Evan Gardner's goaltending up until the final 6 minutes of the second period. And then they got one, and then they got another one. It was 2-0, and it was essentially game over.
Would you like to see more from a specific line or maybe a player tonight less in the Blade side?
No, I think that's an all-around thing. I mean, that maybe sounds like a bit of a cop-out, Barney. It almost sounds like coach speak, but it is. Basically, that's what it is. What Dan De Silva wants is he wants more from everybody, and that's what I would really like to see is more from everybody, not just a certain individual or two. You could sit there and you could probably pick out all kinds of individuals in this series that haven't put forth the necessary oomph in their game in order to come away with a victory. But as a result, then I think you're just basically looking at it as a team effort, and that's something that's going to have to be better all the way around. Everybody on the team has to be that much better than what they have been, even better than what they were in the Edmonton series. And a lot of guys played excellently during the Edmonton series. They have to step it up that much more against the PA team that's a wagon.
Regina, boy, I watched Game 1, and I see he was +2 in Game 2. Jonas Sievertson is kind of finding himself in the Western Hockey League. Playing with Braden Coots, I guess, helps as well. But that line looked really good in line 1. But Sievertson, for a rookie in the league, basically has played well and looked well.
He's a power forward. He's got the ability. He's got good hands around the net. Like from 20 feet in, he's pretty tough to stop. He's got a really good shot. And the goal he scored near the end of the second period in Game 2, I mean, that's posting in. Evan Gardner thought he'd taken away the angle. Sievertson's shot was as good as it had to be in order to get in, posting in. And, he's looked really good for the Prince Albert Raiders. I thought he might have made the team last year as a 16-year-old, but they decided to give him one more year with speaking of wagons, the Pat C's wagon from last year, gave them an opportunity to play with them, and here he goes. He's on a really good team again this year. Guy's just a winner. It seems he finds winning teams to play on all the time.
Yeah, he played on my flag football team too when he was at my wife's school. We didn't win, but he's an all-around good athlete and good kid. Hey, I want to Les Lazaruk's joining us here on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. If you're just tuning in, I want to ask you a couple other things. Brad Haroff, Ryan Smith, not renewed by the Regina Pats today. Did that catch you off guard maybe a bit less?
It caught me off guard some, yes. Maybe I should have read more into the fact that Ken Schneider retired as an assistant coach and maybe saw that the writing was on the wall for the coaching staff. But the fact that it's both Haroff and Smith going, that really catches me off guard. I would have thought that if Brad Haroff was going to be let go or not renewed, that Ryan Smith would be the guy to take over, being familiar with the group that they have. And, I mean, it's a good young group. They've got the chance to really do some things, and Dale Derkatch said as much in his season-ending media availability. But Dale Derkatch must have somebody in mind. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a coaching hire in the next week or two, maybe, to have somebody in place ready to take over the Regina Pats bench bossing routine, because I just think that that's a very good team, and Dale Derkatch must have something in mind.
Well, he says he doesn't, but I think a lot of people are thinking there maybe is, and a lot of people, Les, are thinking with the ownership group and with Pugh and Schultz and all that, it's going to be a big splash. I don't know if I buy into that. With the NCAA thing now, I think coaching is going to become different in the Western Hockey League, or maybe do you see them making a big splash with a big name?
They may have to make a big splash with a big name, because I'm of the opinion that with all the things that are being done right now and everything today with the NCAA rule changes, transfer portals, I'm seeing all kinds of kids that went to school at one place this past year going to play somewhere else. They've entered the transfer portal. They want to play somewhere else next year, play with a better team, maybe get more NIL money from another school or whatever the case may be. This is a different landscape altogether. And so when you have the opportunity, when you think you've got the guys to maybe make some damage in a season, you also want to make sure that you've got a coach that they want to play for, that you don't have that issue of, we don't want to play for this coach because he doesn't know what he's doing. And trust me, that goes on. There are kids that do think that way. As much as I like to think there aren't many bad kids in major junior hockey, there are the odd ones, and of course they drag some others along with them, and the next thing you know is you've got a problem in your dressing room. The Regina Pats, I think, we're probably looking at hiring a big name in order to make sure that the kids they still have coming back for next year, Schultz, Pugh, and I can go up and down the list, Keats, Fawcett, those types of people, some guys who may be considering wanting to go and play NCAA coming up this year, maybe going, well, hang on a second. They could get a coach here that's got this pedigree. Maybe we stick around for a year and see what we can do towards winning a championship for this city next year.
Do you got a name maybe, or is it too early?
No, it's too early. It's too early. I'm probably going to be absolutely mollywopped by what ends up happening with the name. It's probably going to be somebody that I would never have thought of, and it'll probably be a big name, but I couldn't tell you right offhand who.
I'm kind of in the same boat. Like I said, I don't know. It might be someone that kind of fly under the radar, but who knows? It'll be interesting. Okay, a couple more here quick before I let you go into the rink. Extending the season and word coming down on that. You like that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess, again, so much power now goes with the players, their parents, and the agents.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that are dictating what happens. So in order to have a little more practice time, not as many 3-3s or 3-4s as you have, extend the season by a week, you take away at least 2 weekday games, maybe 3 from your 68-game schedule, and it allows for more practice time and a little more recovery, rest and recovery that the players desire and that their parents desire them to have and their agents desire them to have. So, yeah, I guess in the end it's probably a good thing. I like the fact, though, that you cram a 68-game schedule into what the season is right now, because it mimics more what goes on at the level that you eventually want to get to in the National Hockey League. Okay, let's only play on weekends in the NCAA. Well, that doesn't mimic the NHL. The NHL doesn't only play Fridays and Saturdays. They play 3 games a week and sometimes 4, depending on how things work out. Western Hockey League, Major Junior Hockey League mimics that the best. But if we're going to get pressure from players, their parents, and agents that, hey, I'm going to end up sending my kid to the NCAA because he's not getting enough rest and recovery time and they're playing too many games and it's compressed too much, then I guess you give in a little bit and you go ahead and you go an extra week in the regular season.
And then do you know anything more than we do, or what have you heard about this possibility of teams being able to fly? I'm hearing it's only one way. It's when you got to go across the Rockies. Do you know anything there with air travel, Les?
I honestly don't know if it's one way or not. I do know for a fact, because I was already saying that I was going to fly next year when the Blades go to BC in March.
It's about time.
Just because I thought, okay, I don't need to be sitting on the bus for that long. I'm getting old, as much as I hate to admit that. I'm getting old, and I don't need to have my knees up around my ears for 16 hours on a trip. So I was going to fly, but then I'm told, well, the Blades are flying to get out there. Now, are they coming back as well by air? They're sending the bus, traveling, at the same time that the flight is going on. So, I guess our bus will be out there and take the team around from place to place to place, and then probably take the team home the rest of the way. Hopefully, our last game is a little bit closer to home, like, say, PG. That would be a lot better than, say, coming all the way home from Victoria. Yeah. But who knows with the scheduling? You never know what you're going to get.
You're not stupid. You'll probably take the sticks on the plane, too. Maybe get a couple rounds in.
Oh, I'd love to. That sounds heavenly. Find Bill Wilms and let's get the two of us out there, us old guys. He'll give me a good paddywhacking as far as score goes, but I may actually learn something.
Okay, and then I got one more for you because I might not talk to you before it starts. Who's your feel good story for the NHL playoffs? Feel good story. Who do you like that they're in the playoffs? Is it Buffalo?
Buffalo's one. Philadelphia's another one. Yeah. Boy, I'll tell you what, I'd love to be at some of those Philly-Pittsburgh games in the first round. Those are going to be dynamite.
Oh, buddy. Are they?
Can you imagine?
Yeah. Well, you got a good one tonight on your hands, Les. Prince Albert in town, Saskatoon. What are they expecting body-wise? I saw Matt Young had something on Twitter, but I didn't quite catch it.
Yeah, they're right around 6,000 as we record this, Barney, and I'm sure it'll be up closer to 7 by the time it's all said and done tonight.
God, I love it. I love it. All right, have a great call, Les. Thanks, of course, for doing this as always.
Okay, no problem, Barney. Thanks.
The iconic voice of the Saskatoon Blades, Les Lazaruk, tonight in Saskatoon, Prince Albert Raiders. First puck drop is at 7 p.m. He was joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Western Pizza, all the Greek favorites you love, and of course that pizza you just can't get enough of. All right, that's it for today for Saskatchewan Lotteries, main fundraiser for sport, culture, and recreation. Back in tomorrow, hoping to have Boston Buckburger on the show, Eric Francis, some more hockey talk, and Rob Van Stone. Thanks for tuning in or watching today. That's been the Sports Cage. We will catch you tomorrow.